Welcome back to eSIM Studios. My name is Taylor Bell. Now, we are just a couple of days away from the launch of the Samsung Galaxy S25 series, so unsurprisingly, there's an influx of last-minute rumors and leaks, with the latest being a suggestion that if you're watching this, you probably won't be able to buy the very best version of the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. We also got word of last-minute S Pen news and a big pricing update you are not going to want to miss. Let's go. So according to leaks on X, the long-rumored Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra 16GB of RAM model will only be sold in the Asian markets, leaving the rest of the world with only a 12GB RAM version. The Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra already has 12 gigs of RAM, so that would mean no upgrades in this department for most of the world. The rumored move to 16 gigs of RAM was one of the biggest upgrades we were expecting for the S25 Ultra, so this would be disappointing. Now, take this with a grain of salt. However, our sources are rock solid and have a reasonable track record. This would put the S25 Ultra behind the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL and the OnePlus 13 series, as both devices offer 16 gigs of RAM. Having a massive amount of RAM is crucial for smooth operational AI functionalities. This is the sole reason Apple has been on a RAM upgrade fest over the last couple of generations of iPhones. Now, you can still add plenty of virtual RAM in the system settings. More than likely, it'll be an additional 8 gigs of RAM, but with OnePlus offering a whopping 12 gigs of additional virtual RAM, it makes you wonder if Samsung will up the offering in the virtual RAM department this year if they are not going to upgrade the onboard RAM. We believe Samsung made this call to keep the prices down for the consumer. With each of the last few Galaxy generations seeing a price hike, you can almost bet that the lack of hardware upgrades directly correlates to keeping their production costs down, which in turn will keep the manufacturer's suggested retail price lower. More on this in just a minute. That's not the only disappointing S25 Ultra news either, as we've also seen official marketing images showing the S25 Ultra and its S Pen, and they hint at a lack of Bluetooth for the dedicated stylist. Official S25 Ultra leaked marketing materials on X highlight things you'll be able to do with the S Pen, including sketching and note-taking. However, there is no mention of things like gesture controls or being able to use the pen as a camera remote or automatic screenshot capture. These are all things the S24 Ultra's S Pen can do, but they require Bluetooth, and we recently heard that the S25 Ultra's S Pen might lack Bluetooth. A lack of Bluetooth support would mean the S Pen loses gesture support and the ability to remotely control phone functions. The S24 Ultra allows you to take photos, videos, open apps, and navigate through the user interface with S Pen gestures. This latest rumor is unlike most of the latest S25 specs predictions in the past. It is a straight-up downgrade, albeit a niche one for Samsung's new premium headset. Without Bluetooth, the S Pen would only function as a drawing and/or writing tool, which may of course be fine for some users, but having that extra gesture support gives the average user something to do with Samsung's stylist. Personally, I think the S Pen's Bluetooth support helps to justify its inclusion with the Ultra series. Sure, by slotting into the phone's chassis, the S Pen takes up a lot of internal space that could otherwise be used for cooling or for a larger battery, but Bluetooth does allow the average user to get some use out of its S Pen through the supported gestures. You want to know what I really think? I think, again, Samsung purposely excluded Bluetooth from this year's S25 Ultra's S Pen to once again, you guessed it, cut down on their costs. Which brings us to the third and final S25 Ultra update, the price. The Samsung S25, S25 Plus, and S25 Ultra prices leaked, and they indicate that the company will reportedly price the S25 series absolutely the same as it did as its predecessors from the S24 line. That's the one thing that might have troubled some longtime Samsung fans looking to upgrade to the S25 series was the price increase rumors. For weeks, we've seen reports saying that the S25 will see a price hike, but fast forward to today, Monday, and a last minute S25 price rumor will give you the terrific news you've all been waiting for. Samsung considered raising prices across the board, but ultimately decided not to do it. So the S25 series demand would not be hurt. Samsung wants to continue popularizing its flagship AI phones through the S25 series and to maintain its advantage over competing options. That's what our sources are saying. The source also points out that buyers who pre-order the phone should be able to get double the storage free of charge, a promotion that Samsung ran for various flagship phones in recent years. That is all fine and dandy, but that also explains why Samsung chose not to upgrade the RAM in the three devices and ultimately chose not to include Bluetooth in the S Pen. You see, it costs about $11 more per device to add Bluetooth in the S Pen and to get that Bluetooth S Pen certified in each market across the globe. If Samsung manufactures millions of S25 Ultra models, that equals hundreds of millions of dollars Samsung could save. The reason for cutting costs lie directly in the heart and soul of the S25. You see, the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite costs 30% more to manufacture, and Qualcomm is not going to eat that increase in production costs. So Qualcomm raised the price per chip to the prospective phone manufacturers. The new OnePlus 13 is $100 more expensive this year than the previous year's OnePlus 12. If Samsung wanted to keep the cost the same for the consumer as last year's model, they have to cut costs and expenditures from its device. So here are the total downgrades we are looking at on this year's S25 Ultra. The downgrades include the same Super AMOLED display as last year's S24 Ultra. Now, that's not necessarily a bad display by any means, but after seeing the A++ rated displays on the Pixel 9 Pro XL and the OnePlus 13 this year, Samsung might just have an A+ rated display for this year's 2025 S25 Ultra. The 12 gigs of RAM is carried over from last year as well. Again, you can always add an additional virtual RAM in the settings, but it will be behind, again, you guessed it, Pixel 9 Pro XL and the OnePlus 13. Those come with 16 gigs of RAM. No Bluetooth in this year's S Pen, which means no air gestures for the S25 Ultra model. Not a big deal to me personally. I never used air gestures, but I'm sure some of you watching this video did use that functionality on previous models. Last but certainly not least, the cameras are going to be relatively the same as last year's S24 Ultra, with only one camera sensor receiving a minor upgrade. That key difference then is the ultra wide, as multiple sources have suggested the S25 Ultra will have a 50 megapixel ultra wide camera rather than a 12 megapixel of its predecessor. All those extra megapixels could allow for more detailed shots, but we're not sure for now how else this camera might differ from the current one. Whether, for example, the sensor will be a different size or the field of view will differ. Sadly, the rest of the cameras on the S25 Ultra won't be changing, so we'll probably once again get a 200 megapixel main snapper, a 50 megapixel periscope, a 10 megapixel telephoto, and a 12 megapixel selfie camera. All those downgrades to bring you the next generation of Galaxy devices for the exact same price as last year's model. So tell me, what do you think? Would you like to see upgrades with a slight price hike of $100 or so? Would that be worth the extra $100 to you? Which one of those downgrades are you not satisfied with? Let me know in the comments. I'm interested to know what you think. If you are wondering, yes, we are getting an S25 Ultra regardless of what Samsung is equipping with this flagship device. The launch of the S25 series is just a couple of days away, with the Samsung Galaxy Unpacked event set for January 22nd at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Join us here at our eSIM Studios YouTube channel as we will cover this event live. Appreciate the time. Please be safe. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace out.